Right, welcome back to Kerbal Space Program Science Mode. Slightly late start today on account of the fact that I may have installed a few mods to sort of make it a bit more interesting and a bit more stuff to do. So hopefully the game isn't going to immediately crash. You'll notice clouds and stuff in the background. So I have no idea how this is going to affect performance, or even if the science mode game will load, because I only tried loading the my sandbox to have a look and see what was different. So I hopefully it should be without thing. But yes, we do have. Yes, I've installed for switching to environmental visual enhancements. If you look in the tracking station for a second, hopefully, if we zoom out, you will notice there are a few more planets outside beyond Jewel. We've got the Outer Planets mod. So we have the Kerbal, like unofficial Kerbal equivalents of Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. So even more things to figure out how to explore. Well, that's not really going to affect us too much in the near term, because I'm hoping that this hasn't affected our transfer window. I might have to like affect the settings here. There we are. Never mind. But yeah, I don't know if this actually includes the extra ones. Oh no, it does. Nice. Sarnas, Urim, Leiden, Block. Neat. So that'll be useful. So we have our transfer windows. I'm going to need to come up with a with the expanded delta V map. But essentially, hopefully, if we go back to the and get rid of the incredibly. In theory, I haven't actually checked the research development, but we should have, yeah, quite a few more things to research at some point. Yeah, so we've got a few more technology trees because the yeah, the science labs are a bit OP in terms of like how much like science you can generate if you just like launch them somewhere and wait. Enhanced survivability. What do you get from this? Okay. But yes, there are some more things to research. Heat pump drill. Yes, there's all these amazing and more so things. Nuclear power, which gives us a nice reactor. But yeah, so there's more stuff for us to spend our science points on, and hopefully this means that that because I went on on my sandbox save, and obviously like this thing I think this is the Interstellar extended, as all of these additional parts. So there's just like so many of them in sandbox. I don't know why I wouldn't know what to do. So I think like being able to research these gradually will be useful. But we don't have enough science to do anything about that yet, and we are still wanting to. So I was trying to come up with something that could feasibly get to Moho, which I grabbed my notepad so I remember how much delta V we're looking at. We're having some problems with the original design, so I'm thinking of going for a slightly modified design in the hope that we can, and hopefully using some of the mods, maybe we can come up with something a bit more. I'm not going to try using too many of the modded parts because I assume I don't have that many of them yet. But yes, we're still targeting this. Yeah, it looks like we're still most. These are just the basic parts at the moment. I don't think we've actually unlocked any because I think all the new parts are under their new technologies in the tech tree. So we can use them gradually. But yes, like we originally had, if we open up the what should be the what was it, the Pioneer class, which I guess we're not going to be so we currently have this thing, which again we're having issues because we can only attach fuel in one place, and if we were to actually try and get the delta V calculation to even work, which apparently it isn't doing. Yeah, it was I suppose delta V. But yeah, so essentially, like this was we're having trouble getting this to have enough delta V at all. So the plan was to get rid of MechJeb. Another one I've installed is MechJeb because I feel like once you've done like all auto rendezvous and launches so many times, it kind of becomes a little bit boring. So I'm sort of planning on maybe using MechJeb for the more sort of mundane things, but like trying to pilot stuff manually for like first time, etc. So once it's done stuff like 5 or more times, then just go ahead and start using MechJeb for stuff like Orbital Rendezvous, for example. So yeah, so we're going to try and design a slightly newer, a slightly different concept to try and get a bit more delta to basically get a bit more delta V. So yeah, the general idea will be, we've got some of these streamlined shielded docking ports. I feel like this, we could try one of these. I like when it's open. It does like it sort of blocks the door there, but yeah, it's a new part, we can use it. Close shield. Does look a bit weird. I think that's probably more useful for like landers and stuff. I'm thinking maybe we do have some of the new, because these radial attachment couplers, these are new parts. So I'm guessing we do get a few new ones from. Let's just go with the bog standard shielding docking port for now. Go to utility. I've got a few of these as well. Oh yeah, because we've unlocked the convertertrons, which we're not that bothered about at the moment. So yeah, we want these. And we want our, we want to rotate this so that it's like that. All kinds of different parts, right? I've been looking at these things for ages. Right, science. Oh, we have new science as well. Ooh, new science parts, which means new science experiments. That's a magnetometer, which I'm assuming is something that was kind of superseded by the magnetometer boom. This is now which is a stock part. But anyway, we want a lab. We want to rotate the lab, and yes. So yeah, we want to put in a payload. 245 user payload base. Normally the go to here. We also have TweakScale as well, which is quite cool. We want more science, or a science gone science. We want the core to be the Science Junior, which we want to be rotated that way, I think, because we're going to be we're going to be climbing down from here. So we want to put our science experiments on here, and we're going to have a few of them. So of these. One of these. The thermometer. The gravioli detector. Magnetometer boom is going to go on the outside here. Surface sample, surface things. How big is the gamma ray spectrometer? Oh, that can certainly go there. 30 atmospheric analyzer, scanning arm, gas chromatograph, mass spectrometer, liquid. So that, I think these are for scanning atmospheres, so we don't need these. Yeah, mystery goo. There is, this one does run an experiment, but it's also quite large, so it's a bit awkward to bring along. But I mean, we can see if we can, maybe we can fit it in the maybe we can fit it in the bottom here, maybe. So I don't think there are any other science experiments we can fit in here. I mean, I don't know if this is a different one to this, which will actually give us more science, maybe? I don't know if it'll, I guess we could always put both on. Or this is like extended. Okay, it doesn't have an extended mode. Hey Donut. Yeah, things are going. I've been a bit mad and installed a bunch of mods for Kerbal, so now I've got more planets to visit and a lot more stuff to unlock in the tech tree, so I don't run out of things to do. But yeah, named a system in Stellaris has to be. Oh, thank you very much. Lovely. Sorry if I sorry I missed the stream whenever it was. I assume somewhere this weekend. Bit of a busy weekend. But yeah, so we've got these. We want a ladder. Danis system, nice. Where is this ladder? Stick you there. Extend you to see what you look like. Cool, right? Let's make sure these actually close. Yep. Cool. We want a. Going to use an interstage fairing, which we're not going to actually. We don't want a stage fairing. We do want interstage nodes. And I'm gonna again it's okay. Let's maybe not quite that. Try that again. It's sort of connected it to that, which I don't really want. It's very strange as to exactly. Okay, I mean that works better, right? So let's drop it down a bit. Okay, that's a bit less silly. But how much mass is this thing? It's not. That's only 0.1 tons. Maybe put it upside down and then rotate it around like that. So upside down infrared camera, and then we can add we do still need some power storage here as well, which I do want to add. So grab this for a second. Oh yeah, there's all kinds of new power things against supercapacitors. Thermal power generator. Again, I want to sort of go with batteries, and I mean this is going to be batteries and solar because I'll stick one there. Make sure this is very not staged. Very not staged. It's cool. We do want to stick a command and control. We want to stick one of these here, and then we want a command pod, which I don't really want it to levitate there. There we go. Kind of works. And then if we could stick a, we want coupling, senior clampotron, just like there. So this is going to be the back of the ship. I do want to stick another power bank on here because yeah, so the general idea at the moment is we are going to attach our engines, or like fuel tanks and engines, to the sides, which does mean that they're going, like, these windows aren't going to have a great view, but I think we can live with that. So my plan was something like structural. We're going to go a whole new structural parts as well. Radial mount. Not so many unlocked at the moment, but enough to work with. So when I try and get a girder segment like this, we kind of want it sort of like there, maybe. Just want to like mount things there. Yeah, they're going to know where they're going. They don't need to look out the window so much. Yeah, they don't need to know where they're going. So again, we've got the new fuel tanks as well, which only adds to my confusion. So let's try one of, see if we can get one of these. Now, can I use this thing to like liquid fuel? There we go. So just store liquid fuel in it, rather than, because yeah, this is another mod. Is you can actually decide what fuel the thing contains. So you can just have it have liquid fuel rather than having to like remove the liquid oxygen. I don't really want orange. I do want the kind of, I guess black and white is probably slightly preferable to orange. We do want to move these down a bit because I want to be able to. I do want this docking port to be further forward than these, so that we have yeah, some yeah. We will add some struts just for improved stability. And then the idea is to stick our engines, engine tanks on the outside here. So if we find the Mark 1 liquid fuel fuselage, and maybe like right to the top, but where is the center of mass of this thing at the moment? It's around about there. Probably want to like have it around about the center of mass. Yeah, about there. With just a nose cone on it. Just standard white. I don't think there's any color selection from this. This is for liquid fuel. Yep. We want our nuclear engines. I don't know how many other engine options we have now. There's a few. Solar cell sail. Oh, we've got them. Yeah, we've got all the mammoth, all the stock engines now. But the one that I want is the nerve. Again, why is this delta V calculation so off? Is that something that, like... Again, it seemed like... Oh, there's nothing. I feel like there's something I'm not seeing here. Kerbal vacuum. Is this not gonna be any delta V at all? Which is a bit weird. Like, you know, not even the I did want to add a few more. Yeah, I need to figure out why the delta V's calculations are not showing up. Unless this needs to unless I need to actually have this thing use the right kind of fuel. Oh yeah, propellant liquid hydrogen. I need to liquid fuel. Propellant liquid hydrogen, liquid fuel. Yeah, so these things can take different propellants apparently. Liquid fuel. That's liquid fuel, right? I don't know if that actually changes things. Oh yeah. Okay, so the delta V calculation down here is now different, but it's a shame it's not like showing up in here for some reason. I don't know why that is. But yeah, so like yeah, because now we can tell which the engines which resource what they're using. So because we're using liquid fuel and all these are set up to use liquid hydrogen initially. So now down here we can see. I mean, you should be able to see. We have 8,400 meters per second currently, which is a lot closer to what we want. Our TWR is not very great, 0.32. 0.94 I think when empty. But yeah, my general idea was like the nuclear engines would be on the outside, so like the tanks are shielding them. We also need radiator panels as well, I forgot. Where are those radiators at? They're in thermal, and I think we want the medium thermal control system. Which we can't put on the engine directly, but we can put on, hopefully put it on here, and because if we're going to go to Moho, then things might run a bit hot. So we need to be able to cool our engines down. Again, 0.31 isn't the worst, but I do feel like maybe I don't think we can get any better. What does this thing weigh now? Like 116 tons. So I'm thinking maybe if we can add a fourth one. I think I should probably use this thing here as a guide. So there you go. So again, they're not super lined up, are they? Not great. think going like either side like so is probably the way to go. So they're kind of, yeah, those are opposite each other. And then put these like, yeah, one around. We give it 8 engines rather than, and then I guess we can line them up properly. So we just try lining this up so the top line is there. I reckon they're aligned. So that is again. Oh, awesome! It's showing up in here now. So yeah, 0.33 thrust weight ratio. This thing seems to have a bit more idea. So yeah, 6,000 delta V. That's already enough to like almost get there. So if we add a bit more fuel, then I think we'll be go. If we add a couple more, fuel tanks down here, I think we'll be laughing. Like so. Make these this style. We want these to contain liquid fuel only. Like so. Again, it's a shame because they have those two options. But let's drop that up. So this will basically be like the core of our craft. We will add some more electrical stuff, so we're going to add a couple more of these on top. We will then add a where's rounded out just to make it look a little bit less silly. And then coupling. Basically, so basically we can attach more fuel tanks as and when we need them. So yeah, this is hopefully going to be our main. Oh yeah, we need some solar panels. Because we're going to Moho, so solar is where we're going to be getting our energy. So where's the big ass solar panels gone? There we are. Gigantor solar arrays, which we're going to put on the outside because that makes sense for them to go there. And we need a communitron as well for communications, of which the best one we currently have is this thing. We don't want 2 of them though, we only want the 1. Which we will pop on the back here. What we'll do is rotate it round so that when it opens up, it's pointing that way. Okay, so according to this thing, we have 6,500, which, you know, again, our thrust weight ratio is 0.25, which is not great. Going to be some long burns. We also don't have any monoprop, which we need to add mono. We need to add mono propellant. So, otherwise we're going to have struggle docking with anything. So where is our center of mass? Is about there. So probably move these down a smidge so that we have some space at the top and bottom to put our let's go with the okay. So you can actually add a MechJeb I guess you add this to the to a ship so that you can use MechJeb when doing things automatically. I think, is this a big one? This is a big one, isn't it? Yeah. Sit there and give this the 5 horn, and then pop these at the bottom. Oh, I want them to have symmetry in this case. And yeah, we also want the solar panels to have symmetry. There we go. Right, so also we want a bit more so we have some more thruster control, and we do need some RCS fuel as well, so I feel like it's probably worth putting that on the outside here somewhere. Fuel tanks, where are the... got so many fuel tanks now. Where are the RCS fuel tanks gone? There. Don't know if I'll go in there somewhere. Yeah. I guess you can kind of reach it, that's fine. So yeah, we're at, apparently according to where's MechJeb gone? So according to MechJeb we have 8,000, whereas the Synchronous we have 6,000, so I'm not sure which of these to believe. Go with the more conservative, I think, but let's see if we can't add an additional stage of fuel tanks to the back, which we can then jettison, hopefully giving us a bit more delta V. Is the idea, but we'll see if this works. So, coupling. TD25 decoupler. One here. And then a fuel tank of some description. Again, 2.5 meter one is probably the way to go to start with these. Again, let's go with that colour. We want liquid fuel only. No, that's what I want. Go away. We want this to enable crossfeed. We want this to enable crossfeed, which it has enabled crossfeed. We can then hopefully duplicate these onto here. Oh yeah, we want to fuel priority, flow priority of +1 to these. So these drain first. Well, oh yeah, sorry, that was yes, I have no idea if this is actually going to improve delta V or not, or whether we need to mount these tanks sideways. I don't know, we can do fuel. I'm not sure if you can do fuel lines over the. Yeah, you can't. But maybe we can fuel line across and then fuel line across again. Again, it doesn't really give us much of a... Oh yeah, I suppose it would make sense if these were actually activated after the engine. So there we go. Yeah, makes sense. We're basically jettisoning these fuel tanks before we fire the engines up, which is probably what the problem is. So hopefully if we do this, then we still get the same numbers. So yeah, we're only adding like another 1600 meters per second here, or according to MechJeb 1800. The total delta V now is 10,000, so but our stage TWR is not, again, not super great. I also wonder if these things will damage the. They might be far enough out that they won't. Might be a better idea to put these on the on the inside like this, so they're definitely away from the. I just stick this on there, and then. Yeah, probably work. So the question is, if we essentially like duplicate these like so, and we do this like so, then we get 1300. Again, we're getting close. We're getting close to 12,000 there. But our thrust to weight ratio is like down to 0.18, so you know, mileage may vary. We also want this to be a even higher fuel priority, so that these drain first, and then no, that was wrong. That's not what I wanted. No, but that works. Yeah, so these drain first, and then the main ship's tanks drain, and this is big freaky thing. Oh yeah, I was also going to stick some more control things on here, because this is going to be really heavy, and we've only got the one reaction wheel, so the plan was to add another couple to the tops here, in the hope that yeah, the thing doesn't shake itself apart too much. So the plan was to do we want to put them in, want to stick them inside something. So having said that, they're not going to be they're going to be attached at the top, so they're not going to be structurally significant. So we might be able to get away with just like adding them and then adding these on top like that. So they're not proving structural. They're just providing rotational torque. And right, that could well be a ship. And then I think we should be able to refuel from the front if we want to refuel at all. Alternatively, we stick. No, we'll leave it, because in theory, like, we should have used up these before we even get to there. And if we add some sort of chemical rockets on the back to get us hopefully most of the way out of the Kerbal sphere of influence, and we can at least try and get to yeah, that's what I'm thinking at the moment. Again, this thing is going to be incredibly fun to get into orbit, because this thing currently weighs 278 tons. This is going to be a pretty big launch vehicle if it ever gets into orbit at all. So coupling again. So the idea is that this is going to be our like and these aren't going to allow crossfeed. These should allow crossfeed. Yep. Where's the other one gone? T25s. And then we want standard liquid fuel oxidizer. And we'll make these orange because these are going to be different fuel type. These are going to be liquid fuel oxidizer. We will go to structural. We will add a bunch of these. And again, I have no idea how this thing will even will perform. And then we want some engines. We want something that's fairly decent in vacuum, because the idea is these things are going to be used in vacuum. Which I think something that's a bit more optimized for vacuum. Holy shit! Rhinos are large. Mastodon. Again, they're pretty good surface level and vacuum. I do kind of want to try. Let's add a 25 engine plate on here. Let's just set this attach nodes to like 8x1, and let's just stick a whole load of terriers. Which technically fit. Not a lot of delta V, is it? 1.2 ISV. Oh yeah, it's because they won't be using the all the fuel, will they? Okay, God. Decoupler, disable staging. So it's just this one, which if we have it here, again, not a lot of delta V, but slightly better TWR. Just many engines. Again, it's just, I don't even know if this is even feasible. Let alone get this thing into orbit. Just out of interest, it might be worth, like, because again, these are not very powerful, but they have a fairly decent ISP. Oh yeah, we are in vacuum. But they have a pretty decent ISP in vacuum. So, what is the ISP of these? Yeah, again, these are less good. I think that's 345. 330, 320, 310. 380 for the Wolfhound. This might be worth trying one of these. Yeah. Fewer engines to deal with. See, 509 meters per second is like... Oh yeah, we want all these to go in the same, don't we? Is... yeah, halfway out of Kerbal's sphere of influence. And again, I think if we can send like we'll send some like a flying fuel tank so that we can refuel this in orbit around Moho would be the idea. Yeah. Right, let's because we're gonna be like flying this. Let's can we grab the I don't know. I think we might need this if we want to fly it remotely with MechJeb. So I'm thinking if we have one and just like stick it on the outside here, so that we have the ability to attempt to get into orbit. Maybe not try docking it to the space station immediately because it's quite large. But yeah, let's look. This is yeah, it's better than the 0.16 at least. Let's see if we can't try and get this thing into let's see if we can get this thing into orbit. So let's set this to sea level for the worst of all worlds. Grab ourselves the like so. Probably want a structural tube just to space this a bit better. So, and then we want a let's go for the 5 beta payload bearing. We're probably going to need it. I'm sure this will get into orbit. Christ almighty. Again, we're not really going to need to bother too much about the... we can actually use TweakScale to scale up the everything. Because yeah, this thing is going to take some getting into orbit, I can tell you that much. What does it weigh? Like, yeah, 300 tons? So, yeah. I need to get 3,000 delta V into 3,400 delta V into the onto this thing. And we also need to strut it in such a way that it won't just like immediately wobble itself out of existence, which, you know, at the moment might be a bit of an ask. I could try using auto strut, but I don't want to bother. So yeah, we just go straight for the 5-meter tank, like so. Good God. We want coupling. We're going to need 4 of like these. Just all of them. Structural. We're going to need this. At least one, if not a couple more. So the plan here is like so. We then, let's just save this as Moho, my god, MohoMG, because I'll be honestly surprised if this thing flies at all. 50 engine plate, stick you on that, and yeah, we're gonna need like 4x1 probably, 4x1, and entrance wise we have maybe main sails. Let's bare mount those, and I don't think we can fit a 5th in the middle. So maybe let's make this, yeah, it's quad. So it's 0.49 for thrust weight ratio. We want, see what this looks like with 1984 with 2.23. Again, we'll leave this open for now because we want to see what that thrust weight ratio looks like when we get add the tanks above, which we're going to need to do. So let's immediately start reducing our diameter. Yeah, 1.63 already. Let's see. .45. Again, we're adding more fuel and getting less delta V out of it. I think it's because we're getting like I think these are different adapters. Oh, the cryogenic fuel tanks. What is it? One of these? Yeah. Wait, we're nearly at the top. Yeah, so we're adding more tanks and getting less and less delta V out of it. I think it's because, yeah, this might change if we add the fuel line here. There we go, 2,438 with 695. And again, we need to we'll need to seriously strut this thing up and then add some. But we're nearly at the fix. Yeah, I think it's because okay. That's probably high enough that we can add the nose cones and strut from the nose cones to the I'm really hoping this works because by all accounts it shouldn't work, but let's just hope that it does. There we go. So 2004, so we're already at 3,000 meters per second, and we have 1.41 thrust to weight ratio. So, and then that drops down to 0.97, but hopefully we'll be most of the way into the atmosphere by then. We do need to add the where are our might SRBs? We want to add these to here, and then rotate them. So like this. Like there, I think. We want these to go at the same time that these do. And then hopefully that should be enough to push them away from the core stage. Again, we're not launching this with anyone in it, so if it crashes and burns, it crashes and burns. Good God. Alright, so the question is, do I want to add a low? I think we do need to add a lower stage. So I'm thinking of like some actually, to be fair, we don't, these have built-in decouplers, so if I make these like medium and then medium, and then we add medium long, like so. Make this medium long, and then like where are those mammoth? Again, these are only at 4,000, whereas it's like 4 times 1,500. So I feel like this might be even worse. Oh wow, they're not even. Maybe we can tweak scale them up. There we go. .394 meters per second with a 1.56. So that should put us up over the top to my God. It's just more struts, more struts. I don't know why I'm adding a lower stage down here. Like, well, it might work better with the actually no, I think like we do have enough. We do want to turn on the aerodynamic overlay, which should be hopefully somewhere. Way up at the moment, which is obviously not a good thing. So we need to bring that down way below the center of mass. Well, I mean, it probably won't, so it probably won't fly very well at all. I'm trying to send something incredibly large up, and it's probably going to explode horrendously, but like if we add these here, then yeah, and then add some more on here to bring the pilots to the city. Well, hopefully, again, the plan is there aren't going to be any pilots on this thing when it initially goes into orbit. because yeah, it's I'll send the pilots up later in something that's less horrendous, like if this thing actually makes it into orbit at all. That way I don't need to worry about having an abort system or anything. Like if it crashes, it crashes. But yeah. So go back to structural and add a bunch of launch clamps. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. And I'll be interested to see how this thing, how the physics, how the physics engine handles this mammoth. Do you know how many parts it is? 289 parts. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's basically getting it into orbit is like the big sort of question mark, and then hopefully it'll be okay once it's in orbit. Let's strut these up a little bit as well. Yeah. If we can, right. Yeah. Again, this thing seems... No, don't do that. Nope, it's not behaving itself. Maybe we just do this. That seems to work better. There you go. Couple more struts. But yeah, I mean this is going to be fairly large. So we currently have, let's do the action groups, which will be the main like in-flight ones. We don't want the advanced nose cone, we want the action group 0, which will be to extend the radiators. Extend our solars. Well, oh yeah, sorry. It should be toggle radiator rather than extend. Silly me. Toggle radiator. Toggle radiator. Toggle radiator. Toggle radiator. Toggle solar. Toggle solar. And then toggle antenna. So that should hopefully activate all of those. One will be to hit up the ladder, toggle the bay, toggle. Oh wait, no, we don't. Yeah, we do want that. We then have custom 5 to run all the science experiments. So we want the crew report from here. We want the material study from here. We want the gamma rays, log pressure data. We want the temperature. We want the gravioli. We want the mystery goo. And then this one we want to run the magnetometer report. And then also, I guess this one we also want the other magnetometer, log magnetospheric data. So that should be all the science, I think. Oh yeah, we also want to log observation data here. Yeah. Cool. Then we'll close this. I think that's all of the things. Let's save and then yeah. See if we can't get this all. See if we can't get this into orbit. Right. So we'll check our staging. So. First stage, which has a grand total of 394 meters per second, a 1.56 thing to get us off the pad, which is all of these go off, along with all of these. We then have this stage, which is the bulk of our ascent. Then we have the last one. Then we deploy the fairing, of which I do want to, yeah, side 6, that's fine. So deploy the fairing. Yeah, stage. And activate these 3 engines. And we want all these to stage, activate all the nuclear engines, and 2 more sets of staging. Okay, I think that's all the staging. So let's save what we've got. Head back to the KSC and try and launch this thing. Again, I'm not gonna. I kind of tempted to try using MechJeb, but so I put it in an initial orbit, but at the same time I do want to try and fly it manually. So we will warp to, hopefully, if we just check our thing, we've still got 33 days to Moho window. So let's warp to sunrise and try and get this thing into orbit. So we go to the launch pad. Locked or invalid parts. Yeah. MohoMG. For some reason this thing seems to have invalid parts. I'm not sure what's going on there. We don't want to launch anyone inside it. We do want to try launching it. Again, I have no idea what this is gonna, but how the game's gonna run with this many mods installed and a craft this large. So that's not the VAB I want in flight. There we go. Ooh, I'm getting a wheel. Is it gonna work? Is it gonna explode? It's taken a while. Right. Okay. It is on the pad. We do not need landing guidance. Ascent guidance. I don't know if tries to show ascent nav ball guidance. Just to see what it suggests. Or actually, I'll do it without. But yeah, so there may be some slight stuttering when we actually try and launch this thing, but. That's probably not going to go very well on the That's probably not going to go. That's landing back on the launch pad, isn't it? Yeah, I think they're going to miss. I think they're going to miss. It took off, but I don't know if it's going to... I don't know if it's going to get to orbit. I mean, we're already looking pretty flat, and yeah, our apoapsis is still only 35 seconds away, so we're still in the thick parts of the atmosphere, so maybe need to be a little less aggressive on the gravity turn. I mean, like, our apoapsis is certainly high enough. And we are nearly in orbit, so... I mean... Success? Like... I think, like... Again, like, we are traveling fast enough that we're going to be leaving the atmosphere, and... You know, 150 kilometers is, yeah, very, like, a reasonable time to... Wow, those mites really go for a while, don't they? They're still going, they're still, like, just having them twirl. I don't think we damaged anything on it, did we? No. But I mean, we're nearly in orbit, and... Like, yeah, we're nearly in space. We're 6 minutes away from our apoapsis of 152, so... And it's not going to take an awful, like... I mean, once we are in space, this will stop changing, and we can add a our maneuver to get us into to circularize, which hopefully won't take too much. Delta V, right? We are in space, which is surprising. Add a maneuver to circularize. Three, four. Whoa, way too much. No, 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 stop it. That was too much. We don't want 5 and 47, we want less than that. Suddenly went way too far. 7, 6, 5, 3, 52, there we go. So that is a 21-second burn. We are in a bit of a wonky orbit, but that's only 225 of our 708 meters per second of delta V in this stage, which again should hopefully be enough to get us to hopefully, if we can, rendezvous with the space station. But I'm not too bothered about that, so I'll probably just stick us in, try and like correct our orbit here to get us on a to get us on a more like equatorial orbit. But yeah, so if we, and again, I fully expect this thing. Actually, to be fair, we're in space now. I feel like we can probably jettison the. Wait, why are these extended? That's a bit silly. Let's extend our solars. Look, there are clouds. Kerbal has clouds now. Okay. Okay, we'll leave them on automatic. We have 2 minutes to burn. Also time warp. And yeah, I think we won't bother like trying to rendezvous this thing with the space station. A bit too complicated. I think what we'll do is we'll do what we did with the earlier one, and we'll rendezvous a crew transfer with this, and then just use all of the delta V we have in this thing for getting out of Kerbin's sphere of influence, because we're going to have like enough in theory. We have 40 seconds. Hopefully this won't be too wobbly. It looks a lot better. I feel like it definitely looks a lot better with the environmental visual enhancements mod. Oh my god, so wibbly. It's the problem with these much larger with these larger ships is that like unless you start using auto strat, they do tend to wobble around a lot. That's because they're very long. They get kind of quite wibbly, and I think there is an option to use like this thing called auto strut, which like auto struts things together. But from what I understand, the auto strut is the thing that like can summon the Kraken. Look at that really weird lighting effect. But okay, this thing is in orbit. I want to know if we can. Are those the I think those the Ascent rockets, aren't they? So the question is, can we correct our? Now let's just set that as a target to give our ascending and descending nodes. So the next node we're hitting is ascending node, which is in 8 minutes. We want to be going down because we're ascending. This will probably take quite a bit of delta V, to be honest. Yeah. There we go. 149. I feel that's okay. And then our resulting thing will be 159 to 153. We can recircularize at 160. What exactly is the KRAKEN? They're essentially like so the KSP physics engine is not perfect, and because they try to simulate the interaction between many parts of a spacecraft, sometimes things can get a bit squiffy. Now, rather than just like chalking this up to a series of sort of physics bugs in the game code, the KSP community like to think of this thing as something called a deep space KRAKEN, which is essentially when something just like randomly tears your ship apart. Like there's this whole thing about the deep space KRAKEN sometimes just deciding to claim a ship or to claim a spaceship. So the short version is it's essentially like an in-universe like explanation for why like rockets can spontaneously come apart for no apparent reason. But I haven't personally had like a full-on KRAKEN attack when I played the game. Obviously, like I've had wobbly ships and sort of like things where, like, for example, I built a really long ship, ship with reaction wheels along its length in my career mode save, and I learned when connecting it all together that when SAS is turned on, the reaction wheels at different ends of the ship and the engines can do this as well with thrust vectoring. They'll be trying, so because different ends of the ship will be pointing in different directions, the reaction wheels would always be sort of like working against each other, and it would make the ship just wobble more and more, and you have to turn SAS off, or like a quick trick is to go into time warp, because if you go into non-physics time warp, then all of the physics stuff gets like disabled temporarily, which is a good way of stopping things from like wobbling around too much. But yeah, we have 5 minutes, and we want to try and rotate ourselves to the maneuver, which is going to be quite a long endeavour considering how big this thing is. And we have all kinds of different added resources now because of the because of the added mods. Stocky Ball Light Indicator, I don't know what that is. We have MechJeb, which would be useful. And Kerbal Engineered Redux, which again 12-second burn, which is again going to get quite wobbly unless I again I think it's because of these things. So if I disable the if I lock the gimbal on all of them, then at least the engines won't be contributing to the wobble essentially. Because that's the other thing is because the engine's gimbal like engine gimbling is one way of controlling your rocket, and if the engines are on one end and your reaction wheels on the other, then the engine basically the engine's gimbal, but because the different, there's a bit of flexibility in the rocket, so because the different parts of the rocket can point in different directions, and like the control core is around about here somewhere, so that could be like I'm pointing this way, like have the engines point to sort of correct that, but because the engines are not in a straight line, like, and those like differences can add up over time, which is why you get like increasing wobble, like you see. So one possible way of mitigating that is to disable the engine gimbling when you don't necessarily need it. So engine gimbling is useful when you're like launching and you need steering when into a gravity turn. But maybe it's less useful when you're in orbit and you have more time to do you have time to like line up to do your burn perfectly. It'll still probably be a bit wobbly even with this, but you never know. Yeah, that's we're now pointing when we need to point, so let's just time warp to our maneuver. Yeah, so essentially, like, we could try docking with the space station, but at the moment I feel like it'd be a waste of Delta V, which we could just be otherwise spending getting ourselves on a trajectory to Moho, which, again, hopefully we have sufficient Delta V to... I mean, according to this, we don't, so I'm kind of hoping that the Delta V calculation from the mod is saying that I do, so... I'm kind of hoping that the mod is telling the truth. But again, I'm going to send, if to be on the safe side, I'll try sending like essentially like a fuel ship to do refueling when we get there. Will be the idea. Or like send the lander with way more fuel than it needs if I can. But my plan at the moment for the lander is to try and do something a bit fun with the lander. I'm going to try and build a lander that has a built-in rover deployment, because we now can build. We have the parts to build rovers now. Oh wow, okay. I think we need the engine gimbaling. Yeah, we do. So yeah, without the engine gimbaling, and we have some. Yeah, okay, we're gonna have to do this slightly differently because we're well past the we're well past it now. So we're gonna have to redo the thing on the descending node instead. So descending, we're gonna go up. Can't bloody see the damn thing. Nope. Right. Okay, let's try it that way. So the only thing with these large ships is that they are yeah. So I think so some issue there where like the thrust was isn't thrusting directly along the distribution of mass. So there was some something was kicking it in the wrong direction, I think. Yeah, it's problem with these larger ships is that they get a bit more difficult to control. Does MechJeb have like a option for maneuver planner? What vessel info give you? Not an awful lot. Yes, lots of things to do with MechJeb. Okay, let's try this again. This time, going this way. Look, you get like city lights and stuff. Okay, 7-second burn this time. See if this is any better. We've left with, I think we've switched the gimbaling back on. Hope we have. Free. Okay, so generally pointing in the right direction, but a lot less like control. So we're probably like nearly there. Again, that's like post maneuver. So uh, 0.1's fine. Close enough. But yeah, so I think we'll oh yeah, we still have that targeted, but don't want to target this anymore. Unset target, we're not going there. We're just going to stick around in this kind of circular orbit, and we shall hopefully launch some Kerbals to try and take this thing to and from again, I'm kind of like intrigued at the delta V current total being so, like, the total here being so different from it's not like that different. It's 9,000 versus 12,000, but again, yeah, we'll leave this thing in orbit. We'll hopefully send a crew up to it soon, in time for our attempt to get to Moho. Did I have any other alarms set? I don't think I set one for the Juno ship, so I'll go for the Juno ship's science lab. So we will head to the space center, and we'll start looking at building a little science rover, which will hopefully yeah. So the idea is my plan at the moment is to send a lander to Moho, which will have which will land and deploy a rover with all the science experiments attached to it, and then the Kerbals will drive that rover around just for some fun. Recover. So yeah, so I don't have too little delta V in the first stage, because otherwise, if you're doing a very slow gravity turn, that stuff will land back on the launch pad. And we don't really want. I mean, like it is science though. We can't just repair it for nothing. But yeah. So I was going to quickly just fly off to the Mars, to the labs, and just make sure we have alarms set up for there. So I think we'll go to the Minima Science Base first. Hope this won't be too badly affected by It's interesting the thing that the ship, some of the ships have incompatible parts, which I'm not sure about because I've changed the mods or not. Ooh, it is. Oh yeah, I think this is the enhanced lighting effect. So yeah, the better environmental effects. So because it's like dark is like properly dark now. But I was going to have a look at the Kerbal long log and add one for the science lab, which should be in 78 days. Due to get some more science into this thing. So we'll leave that. We will go to the map screen. I think it's tab, isn't it? To Sun, Moho, Eve, Gilly, Kerbin, Mun, Minimus, Juna. There we go. Right. Oh wow, look at Juna. It's got cloud layer. Alright, we want the KSS Pioneer. Switch to. Oof, that was a bit ear cancer. Switching to uranium fuel mode, uranium oxide. Oh yeah, I think it's because I built these before the Okay, we still have delta V, which is good. Right. So yes, science lab, which is currently has some 5 science. Hasn't had a lot of time to do any more science, but we can add a science alarm clock. So science lab, 33 days. Which we'll add quite nicely. We'll go. I do want to see where is Juna gone. It's just there somewhere. There it is. I do kind of want to time walk around to the daylight side just to see what Doodle looks like, because again, we since we've landed on it, we've had some enhanced environmental effects, which is looking pretty good. You can see that. I can see the atmosphere as well. Anyway, yes, map mode. Sun, Moho, Gilly, Kerbal, Mun. We just want to go here and see how long this lab's going to take to develop some science. Look at how much science have you got in there? 29 science. No point. That's not a lot of science a day. We need to get some more science in there. Did I refuel this? I did. I'd like to try doing a another science landing on the moon at some point, but we will, for now, add the science lab here. That's gonna take a year. Hopefully we'll be back. There'll be a right. Let's go back to Space Center. I think we're and try setting up our. So yeah, I think like a Dres mission will be feasible with a similar looking thing. I think a Dres mission should be feasible with a similar kind of thing. But we'll have to see. So, but yeah, we'll focus on the Moho on Moho at the moment. So, first thing we're going to do is in the spaceplane hangar, because I want to use mirror symmetry rather than radial. We're going to try building some kind of little rover once the game loads. Oh yes, breakfast on Wednesday night. I will. Yeah, bleeding. I will think about it. I don't know. It'll depend on what the movie night is. Right. We want to zoom in. So this is a little Rover thing. A little Rover bed, which we recently unlocked. I don't really care about Delta V on this thing because it's going to be a rover. It's not going to have any Delta V. But yeah, I'll let you know, Donut, if I'm around for Wednesday evening. Actually, what we want to do first of all is so we want to try and fit as much as we can on this. So I'm thinking about using this as a basis for adding some like structural stuff. So we do have some structural panels. I have no idea what these are actually like. So we have like that. Yeah, it's about central, isn't it? So my idea is okay, we want to. It kind of works. This thing is difficult to place, isn't it? Okay, I kind of feel like I can probably just place this on there directly. So I'm thinking we stick out. Like that. And then new plan. There you go. We had one in the middle. Sort of up ahead, like so. And then we have, hopefully, 3 seats for our 3 Kerbals. Would be the plan. We then try and add as much science as we can to this thing. So I'm thinking of, it's probably worth adding our wheels first, so ground. I think these ones, because these ones tend to... Nope, nope. Because these can fold, essentially. So you start them with retracted like that. And what we do is we stick our batteries there. Yeah. Give me a sec, hang on. Sorry, I need to grab something. Got holes in me. Yeah, so we want to add some solar panels somewhere. I'm thinking we add them over the top. But yeah, so we have some power. Yeah, I think we add some. Again, we're going on Moho, so I'm not sure we need to add some radiators to this thing. I don't know, but we want some science stuff. So the main thing is this thing, which is going to be again quite large. I don't know if we can. I'm not sure if we can use TweakScale with this thing. Can you TweakScale this? Oh, you can scale it down. Oh, it's so adorable. It's a mini one. It's a mini Science Junior. I mean, I feel like it's a bit cheaty to TweakScale it, but at the same time, I do want it. So I have no idea if that reduces the amount of science it's able to do. But I will take it. So yeah, so we're going to Moho, so we want a mystery goo unit. We want a thermometer. We want a pressure detector. We want our gravioli detector, which can quite happily sit here. We do need our little science containers. Kinda works. Although I think it'll be can we tweak scale these? Oh, you can make them mini. Kinda works. We do, I think, like, we are gonna be landed, so kinda makes sense to have one of these. Yeah. Well, we're going to put it in a spaceship as the plan. And I'm going to hopefully try and fit, if we can, the radial image. Oh, that's quite big. That's somewhat larger than we need. They're a bit big. These are much smaller, but we can okay, you can't fit that much in it though, is the thing. This doesn't have a lot of space. Yeah, you can't fit a lot of stuff here. And how many experiments do we need? We want the ionographer. We don't need the weather analyzer. And we do want the mystery goo thing. So in theory we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 power. So we need 2 of these, and then yeah, we need like, I think we'll try and store them on the lander somewhere. But this will just be for driving around to do science. So what we'll do is we'll stick these on the back. Like so. And then we need somewhere to put some solar panels so that we can recharge. Again, I think solar panels generate a lot more energy on Moho, so yeah, so now we need some attachment point so that we can attach it to an arm that will then deploy it. So we will start these retracted. Yeah, I quite like the silver variant. What we can do actually is we can give this a little test drive in Kerbin's atmosphere, on Kerbin. I think in order to launch this, we can't actually launch it with anyone in the. Can we? Or can we? Call it Science Rover. We'll save it, and we could try launching it. I don't know if you can launch, because I think in the original, like, I'm not sure if they've modified it so you can like launch things with Kerbals and command chairs, because I think originally you had to put them in a command pod when they started out. I might be wrong, but we'll see what happens. Cool. He is on board. Does this thing have reaction wheels? Nope. Cool, we have a little rover. If we hit the brakes, then there we go. Drive around. Cool. Yep, I think this will work. And then I think that it is generating charge. Cool. Yep, I think we'll recover this. Just switch straight to VOD and hang out. We are coming up on 2 hours, so probably might go a little bit further. Try and at least build this build a deployment mechanism for the rover. Yay, done. Right, space plane hangar for now. And probably have it as like a sub assembly, so that you can just like have a thing so we can merge it in. Is the idea. Right, so we want some like attachment point for this thing, so that we can lower it and which I'm thinking like the front's probably a good place because we want to store it vertically. So we want to start these retracted, and I'm thinking like a coupling and a radial attachment point, something like a radial decoupler. Like here, which I think we can use TweakScale to scale it down a little. There we go. So that's going to be our mounting point. That's how we're going to mount it to the rocket. And the idea is that the thing will like hopefully lift it out, like drop it gently, and if we reroute now to select this part. Okay, so that's not what I want. Alright, reroute. That's not what I want. No. The reroute just changed. Oh wait, I guess the radial decoupler can't be a root part. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe we want a TD06 decoupler. Right, let's go that way. Can I reroute now? There we go. Alright, so if we TweakScale this down like so, then that becomes the root part, which means that we can then mount this to a hopefully a yes, right, cool. Let's save science for over at the moment. Let's switch to the thing. We will create a new thing. We want 2.5 meter fairing, which is going to be here. We want a couple of these, So we want to turn on interstage nodes, and then we want we start there. Okay, right, so we want to turn on the center of mass because we want to position this thing, and we basically need like an arm that will essentially lower this thing down and then decouple it, will be the idea. So we need robotics parts. And then hopefully the so I'm thinking at the very least we want hinges and probably like the smaller ones, I think. Yeah, that's a bigger one. I want smaller hinge. Maybe not that small. Maybe the make sure we got here. We have rotation servos, which might be an idea. I don't know. It's probably looking a bit big. Maybe like one of these. Just a bit wary of it, of trying to like. Yeah, so I'm thinking if we rotate this way, that's a bit long, isn't it? Maybe if we offset this like so. That we so and then we grab another one of these. Target angle down. Just a little bit. Yeah, and then we try and science rover deployment. Alright, we save this, we open, and we again, these all contain invalid parts, so I'm wondering if there's an issue for that. Like, they shouldn't do, but apparently they do. Or it might be because they contain the nose cone, which is in a different that might be why. I'm wanting the science rover, which is in the spaceplane hangar. Let's load that in. No, no, I don't want to load, I want to merge it. God damn it. Right, VAB. Sorry, I've done that wrong. Science rover deployment. Load that. Zoom in. Turn on center of mass. We want to grab the science rover and merge. Like so. And we want to attach it to there. It's a shame there isn't a smaller hydraulic cylinder. We don't necessarily need that to be a hydraulic cylinder. We could just have that be a well, can we TweakScale it? I don't think you can TweakScale this, can you? No. But this doesn't need to be a hydraulic cylinder. So I'm thinking if we grab this for now, and we get rid of this, and we use some structural parts. So I want something that's like not large. Maybe one of these. It's a bit. Yeah, it's about the same length as the problem, but I could actually make that. These ones. This is it. And we try attaching this to here, like so. Is the general idea. So I think in theory, it kind of looks like that is about central now, nearly. We want to like fine tune this so that it is. I don't think we can move this any further along, can we? Yeah, that's about in the middle, isn't it? Okay, it's not quite perfect. Kind of want to. Ooh. Yeah, thank you very much for the follow. ASR12? Or do you pronounce that? That's probably about as central as it's gonna get. Hello there. Yeah, that's roughly in the middle. So now we need to add a. I'll have designed that road, Bob the Builder. Yeah, I did, and I'm not Bob the Builder, but yeah, I am cheating a bit with TweakScale to scale the Science Junior down a bit. So yeah, I'm guilty of that. All right, Cal controller. She'll pop there, which is going to control everything. Bruh. Yeah, we just got past the 2 hour mark, so I'll see if I can like start getting this thing, like at least start on programming this thing. So if we open up the editor in here, we need to go into the action store to be able to do everything. So we want to add Cal controller, we want to add the target angle of this thing, target angle of this thing, target extension of this thing, target angle of this thing, target angle of this thing, target angle of this thing. We need to actually make sure that we right, so I think this is the shoulder hinge. That's hydraulic. There's only one of those. I need to worry about too much with that. I think this one is the elbow hinge 1, elbow hinge 1. Basically, just like consider this an arm, elbow hinge 2, and this should be the wrist hinge. I actually want to add a because obviously this thing's going to swing around if we're not careful. So I was thinking of, oh yeah, we also want to add the decoupler here, which will be to add the decouple, which will be the Rover arm decouple. We only get to do this once, so this will be like a play once and never again. However, I do want to add, if we pop this to the side here, if we add in another small decoupler, the TD06 decoupler on here, and the idea is that we're going to add some struts hopefully to this thing, which will just like hold it. The idea is it'll hold it in position while we're so hopefully, yeah. basically hold it in position whilst it's in flight is the idea. So we also want to add this decoupler to the axis fields as well. So this is the storage decoupler. Yeah, so the general idea would be for, again, probably want this to be a bit longer than probably like say a 30-second deployment. Do we also want this to be yeah, I feel like we want this to be rotated around as well, actually. So if you grab this thing and just around like that, I think, because we want it to be like wheels down when it's rotating. Nope. Let's see on this side here. Yep. Cool, so the first thing that would happen is that the storage decoupler would decouple. Then the rotation servo would not start there. Shoulder hinge wants to be other way. And again, we'll leave that there. This one is elbow hinge 1 is where we want it to be. Elbow hinge 2 is surprisingly where we want it to be. Wrist hinge is where we want it to be. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, somewhere around about here. About 5 seconds in. We want it to be there, don't we? Time 5:90. Is that right? Yeah, like that. And we want that to stay at 90. Straight line. Oh no, we want that to be at 90. There we go. So yeah, so essentially that rotates out, like so. And we make that a straight line like that. And that basically stays where it is. We then, so go here, yeah, that's basically like a bunch of programming. So shoulder hinge, we want to stay as it is currently. We want telescoping thing to add a point there. And then about 5 seconds after that, so at 10 seconds, we want this to be just so long. I think that'll work. So yeah, kind of want that to be the same length. And then I guess in this time we also want the shoulder hinge to start rotating. Downwards. We also need to add the wheels on as well, don't we? I'll worry about that in a minute. So add another point here. 15. So So they don't actually know how far down this this thing is actually this lander is going to be. It might be an idea to build the lander first, and then yeah, it might be an idea to build the rest of the lander first, and then do this design. Or then like program it, because I don't know how far down the lander is actually gonna extend. So it's 56.55. Call this 55. There we go. I think we'll probably leave this as it is, because at the moment, I don't know, maybe elbow hinge 1. Let's see if we can get this to at least look right. So we add a point here, and then a point here. I love how the struts are staying connected. I kind of want it like that, really. So what's that? 49. Let's call that 50. Call that 50. Leave elbow hinge 2 as it is. Wrist hinge. Again, we want a point here and then a point here. And I'm thinking wrist hinge wants to rotate quite aggressively to like there. There you go. And then this wants to be the same, 90. So it rotates out, it comes out, it goes down like that. And hopefully the idea is that we put the landing stage below here, and hopefully it's not too long. Or it's not too far down. Alternatively, you can alter this so that it sort of like pops it down like back wheels first. So the idea might be like it would so like the shoulder hinge, for example, would maybe sort of like go further down, like so. It's again like 35, at 15, and similarly make this thing 35. And elbow hinge would be the same, but then wrist hinge would be more like sort of like that. So say like a value of 10 degrees, like so, and then you make this 10, and then the idea would be like you have this thing sort of like down here near the ground, and then you decouple this little thing here, and it would just nicely drop onto the surface. Yeah, I do need to actually finish this this stream soon, because I do have a Skype call with my parents scheduled. So I will leave it at this, because again, like the exact sort of like how this is, and then the idea is like this decoupler would then decouple here essentially. But we'll basically like design the lower stage of the well, basically like, design the rest of the lander, and then program this. We could test it on the landing pad to see how this deployment goes, before we actually launch anywhere. Will be the idea. But yeah, so what we'll do is we'll save this. Actually, we'll call this is going to be the full lander at some point, so we're going to call this the Moho lander. And we shall save it. And we shall put this play position back to 0 seconds, just for now. Because we're going to build, yeah. So this is, yeah. So we're going to build like the rest of the lander so that we know it'll land on Moho, and then basically, depending on how big the bottom stage, like the landing stage is, do the rover deployment, ideally based on that. Would be the idea. But yeah, I guess actually Moho lander, rover deployment, and then we can merge this. We can merge this into the like lander design hole, because we want the lander design to start with the command module. But anyway, I think that's probably enough for today. So we will save this. We'll leave it. I'll head back to the KFC, and yeah. So yeah, I think we managed to like come up with something that will hopefully be able to go to Moho. Yeah, again, fingers crossed. Yeah, and you'll also see look at the extra mod parts that I feel like I should probably just quickly go in here and grab. I feel like this is I think some of my rocket designs have this advanced nose cone, which is why it's I'm just going to research that. It's been moved into this one rather than yeah, but hopefully let's see if that's fixed everything. If we try opening and see if those still have those parts on, like locked parts or not. Open. Oh yeah, that was it. That was the lock part that everything had. Cool. That's fine then. So yeah, so hopefully the next one should be Monday. No, sorry, Monday. Sorry, not tomorrow. Thursday. Currently is the plan. I don't have anything else on, so yeah, let's hit save first of all, and then yeah, we will call it yeah, Thursday 6 p.m. Local hours, and we'll try and like get this Moho lander with a deployable rover, and hopefully a like a transfer stage, etc., which will hopefully be able to get to Moho with enough fuel to spare to refuel the main ship. But yeah, yep, I think that'll do. I'll do for this evening. So I hope people have enjoyed the stream. And yeah, cool. I'll see you all next time. Cheerio.